Great, great. Welcome, everyone. My name is Smadar Goldstein, and I'm the founder and co-director of JETS, Jerusalem EdTech Solutions, who is hosting this webinar. Very glad you're all here from all over, and I see it's not too cold where you are, except for Sarah, and she's in New York. And Philip, I know you're on an iPad. Okay, great. So I want to just introduce myself a little bit. We're going to go through what we're going to do today, which is learning some new tools. We're going to experience an online lesson in case and none of you have ever done that before. And we'll talk about certain tools that go into online lessons, and we're going to play a couple of games and introductions as well. So I started JETS in 2009. Since then, we've taught more than 600 educators all over the world, in Europe, in Canada, and Israel. In the summer, I'll be going to Australia, which is very exciting. I'll be hitting that for the first time to teach people there about educational technology. So this is just an introductory cartoon. Dear Andy, how have you been? Your mother and I are fine. We miss you. Please sign off your computer. Come downstairs for something to eat. Love, Dad. So I like to make fun of my job most of the time because that's me a lot, and that might be a lot of all of us too. And we don't even say that anymore. Whoever says sign off your computer, nobody says that anymore, do they? I don't think so. Okay, so if I could ask a couple of brave people to speak, and everyone should please. You already posted in where you are, but if you could post in your chat where and what you teach. And an EdTech Fashla. I'll explain what an EdTech Fashla is. A Fashla in Arabic. Anybody want to pipe in what a Fashla is? Anybody hear that word before? Ooh. A mistake. Thank you, Maria. And you can also unmute yourself and talk. A mistake is a Fashla. So an EdTech Fashla, because what often people tell me, well, I don't want to use EdTech because there's too many mistakes. So if you want to share an EdTech Fashla, and that way we'll all just kind of expose that we've all been there and done that and made those mistakes, and yes, we can still go on. So an EdTech Fashla is just like we're in a webinar now. Well, by accident, I messed up the times of 2 classes, and I was actually able to be teaching or participating in a webinar in Vancouver with 4th graders, and I was also doing another webinar at the same simultaneously with another class, and I could hear, even though someone else was teaching the 4th grade class, I could hear it in my ears the whole time. But I had to concentrate on my webinar, and it was the most distracting, headache-building experience. And then it was Rosh Hashanah time, so the teacher in the 4th grade classroom who was running the webinar, also from Jerusalem, started blowing shofar into the microphone. So there I was teaching a class and hearing someone blow shofar in my ears. And that is probably an experience I am not likely to forget. So that's called an EdTech Fashla on my behalf. And I teach educational technology, and I also teach Judaic studies to people all over the place. So thank you, Philip. You're in Plainview, New York, an ed director. So if you want to also either share an EdTech Fashla, you can unmute yourself and jump in with that, or you could type it in. Oh, thank you, Batsheva and Kern Religious School. How many of us have played a YouTube without realizing that the Wi-Fi is garbage? Yeah, I've done that, definitely. So, Batsheva, I think we all share your Fashla. Bluetooth compatible. Sarah, you want to explain what that is? You can pop the mute button. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I teach at the Discovery Museum in Bridgeport, which is a science museum, and we have a set of robots. They're very cute. They're controlled by iPads, and it turns out because they all run by Bluetooth connecting to the iPads, you cannot use more than one within a certain distance of each other, or you just start overriding the other robot. And we didn't realize that until I was with a class of kindergartners.
Oh, no. That qualifies, you qualify as an EdTech Fashla. So what did you do?
We had them work in much smaller groups, and unfortunately they were not kids who knew each other. It was not a class, it was a public event. So they didn't know each other, which meant that the sharing didn't go so well. But we had them in smaller groups that we could space out just enough that I could get them to work, but it was not ideal.
Not ideal. It was just one of those days we chalk it up as.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing your bravery. It's all a learning experience. That's what we always chalk it up to. All a learning experience. Okay, so we've got Deb in Long Island teaching second and third grade, and Nitsa in Florida, third, fourth, and fifth grade. We really have educators from all across the United States. We've got from Tucson to Florida here, in New York and Connecticut, teaching all grades, which is also really exciting. And we have also Avidan and Moria who teach in Israel. And not with us right now is Aaron Gordon, who also works with Jets, and he's a tour guide. So you're going to see and hear a lot of cool stuff from him in Israel. But he just texted he's not feeling well. Okay, so let's get rolling. Unless anybody else has anything to share, please do at any time. Definitely keep your eye on a chat box, and we're going to keep going. You have all logged into the haiku. A resounding yes or a resounding no. So those of you who have posted, if it was this morning, I was able to respond. If it was this afternoon, not yet. What's the purpose of the haiku? If you have not yet done it, please make sure to do it by tomorrow. You will be missing out on a lot of information. Yeah, Nitsa. Okay. What's the purpose of the haiku? Why do we have it? This is not a rhetorical question. It's asking you a question, and I hope you have lots of ideas about it. Share information. Absolutely. Anything else? Shared space, find info, share information to share all information. A place we can talk together. Fantastic. Have any of you ever used something like the Haiku Learning Management System or similar to it? Keep up with assignments, calendar events, manage time, learn together. Wiki Spaces, Batsheva's used. Anybody else use anything like that? Okay. So I'm Moodle, Sakai. Oh, okay. Canvas. Fantastic. Google Groups. Great. So you're all a little bit familiar with it. So yes, you are right. We host course content. Every tool, every article, every video that is mentioned in the class will be explained in depth on the haiku. So if you feel like you've missed something you haven't, it will all be there for you. And it will be open for at least a year, possibly 2 years. So you can go back at any time and review anything at your own pace. All the recordings will be posted there. You can go back and check everything out at your own pace. We are also modeling how to use a learning management system. Some of you have used it. The chats will be saved to the haiku, but it's not simultaneous. Not sure if you know what I mean by that, meaning as it's popping up now, you won't see the screen and have it pop up. You'll see the webinar, and then the chat will unfortunately be separate. We did write to Zoom actually this week to ask them to upgrade that, and they said they would try and do that. So we're modeling the learning management system, how you use it in a classroom setting. Do your students have, those of you who have used it, Sefer Shet, I haven't heard of that one, but all of you who have used Moodle or Wikispaces or all the other ones, how you use it actually in a classroom. So I'm going to hop onto the haiku for a second. I want to make sure you're all comfortable and familiar with it. This page you have not yet seen. This is page 3A, webinar activities. And everything, all the PowerPoint I'm using today is going to be right here. The tools we use today are going to be here. Every week you will be challenged and asked to create a tool that you have seen used in the webinar. And during the week, I will ask you to post that tool. And I'll show you where in a second. Post the tool, and then we will provide feedback, and that's how we learn. And then the next webinar, we will take a select few. Thank God we are a group of 17 people, so not everybody, but we will choose a select few of the tools, and we will share them for everyone, and everyone can ask questions, and that is how we will learn. So your challenges for this week will be these 2 polls, watching this fantastic video by Ken Robinson, if anybody ever views. And yes, you can annotate the haiku yourself for sure. And then under here, look at page 3B and 3C. You will be introduced. Don't be scared by these words yet. By the end of today, I promise you will know what that is. You'll be introduced to a lino board and a Padlet today. So what you will need to do is put your own up here. So you'll go up here, discuss. Where's your bulletin board? You'll go to new post. Here's a sample. And you'll post your sample of your lino board or your Padlet. And you will post it here. You'll tell us a little bit about the grade. It's for a grade 7 holidays and values class, and you'll paste the link here. If you want to hyperlink it, You double click and you go to this little link button. You'll post the link there, which I don't have one right now, but you'll post that. You hit OK and you'll press post. Okay, is that unclear? Any questions about that? We'll do that every week. So every week you'll find the button of where is your whatever, and then you'll post your own. And as you can see here, there are instructions how to use everything we post. There are also samples over here if you want to use more. Questions, comments, confusion? Good to go. Fantastic. So let's go. Let's get going. So we did that. The rest of it is going to be much more interactive. Partnering. Thank you for reminding me. This is why I make myself PowerPoint, so I remind myself what to do. These are two people in a yoga partnered pose. I am also, yes, you do the haiku offline. I am also a yoga instructor, so I will be referencing that a lot. Any yoga fans? Now's the time, or forever hold your peace. Okay, maybe not. Yes, fantastic. So we have partners. Oh, good. We have yoga fans. So I have not done this pose. This is not me. I'm sorry about Shiva. I hope you catch it up. But we are going to have partners. Everyone has a partner. It's written on the haiku, and it's also written on the next slide. What is your role with your partner? Anytime your partner posts on the haiku, please respond. How should you respond? Being kind, specific, and helpful feedback. Make them make their work better. We're here to learn. We're here to improve our teaching skills. So be kind and supportive and constructive criticism. What you liked, what can be improved. These are the partners. You're also welcome at any time to post feedback for anybody else's, obviously. But I'm just giving you one person to really get in there and really get to know each other. I will also be feedbacking everybody. So you'll have, so every time you post a sample, you'll have at least 2 people responding. The more responses you get, the more you'll learn. Questions, comments, please pop in anytime. Okay, that was the introductory. Here we're good to go. It's all, from here on in, it's all fun, fun, fun. Thanks for that amazing worksheet, no student ever. So what other choices do we have besides giving our kids amazing worksheets that they don't think are so amazing? You actually had a student say that to you once, Avidan. And what did you answer him? You can unmute yourself.
I said thank you very much.
And you told him to finish his worksheet?
It was very sweet.
Oh, oh, that is very sweet. What topic was it?
Talmud. He said, we really appreciate how much work you put into our worksheets.
That's so sweet. What did he like about it?
He felt like I really put a lot of thought into organizing the learning for them. Mm-hmm. Ninth grade Israeli boy.
And maybe what?
I'm saying it was a 9th grade Israeli boy. It was very strange.
That's a very warming story. So sometimes worksheets can be fun, is what you're saying. As long as they're creative and interesting. But you did, as you said, put in a lot of work. It wasn't, I'm guessing it wasn't fill in the blank and multiple choice, yes, no, maybe so type of thing.
Not exactly.
Not exactly right. Okay, so Sarah pops in with iPads through the museum. That sounds fascinating. Skits. There we go. So a lot of creative work and collaborative work. Anything else? Skits, iPads. What else can we do? Discussions, chavruta. All of this is fantastic. And obviously, since this is an educational technology course, we're obviously going to be pushing educational technology. Kahoot. Oh, great. We're going to do Kahoot. Alternative to worksheets, debates, newspaper article writing. Okay, you guys, we're going to have so much fun on this course because I see this is a fabulous group with fabulous ideas. Fantastic. Based on that, we're going to jump into different types of learning. Which type, yes, I agree, Philip. Which type of learning should students be exposed to? You've got 4 types of learning here. Face-to-face is a regular classroom, as you can see from the image. Synchronous is what we are doing right now. This is called synchronous learning. Different people in different places and different time zones uniting in a web conference. Collaborative asynchronous, anyone have a sample of that? Yeah, Coursera is an example for sure. We just talked about one that we are using also on our course. The haiku, for sure. That is called collaborative asynchronous. Collaborative, it's together, it's not alone. And it's asynchronous, meaning on your own time. And self-paced asynchronous, I think that would actually be more like Coursera, Angelina. You do it on your own, you just listen and pop in, but you're not working with anyone. So out of these four, and you can vote for all four, which do you think in today's day and age should students be exposed? You could say all four, you could say one, whichever one. All kinds, Philip. And feel free to unmute yourself and explain further. The first three, Angela, you do not support self-paced learning, Angela. I'm interested to hear why. Depending on learning styles, absolutely different strokes for different folks. So do you think they should be exposed to all four because it's 2016 and kids need to learn how to focus in these kinds of areas? Or you think only if they want to? Yes. Expose all four no matter what. And eventually they'll figure it out. Okay, I'm with you. I agree. I see that. Okay, fantastic. I think we all agree it was kind of a lead-on question. It wasn't my biggest devil's advocate question. So we're going to focus, like I said, on synchronous. And how many of you have been in a synchronous webinar before where you are doing something like this? Coach them through all four. Nice, Batsheva. I like that. Avidan has, Philip has, share. Anyone who has been, can you pop in, either speak or write? Tell us briefly what that synchronous experience was like, what you learned, if it was a positive experience or negative experience. Being that this is my job, I often hear, oh, I was on a webinar once, it was terrible, I couldn't hear, I couldn't see, the lecture facilitator lectured the whole time, very boring. Ah, fantastic, Angela and Nitsa. What was positive? Tech with my fate was good. I'm really happy to hear that. Not having to travel, yes. And Derek, good night, darling, love you. Just a few webinars. Okay.
Using Zoom.
Yeah. Okay, great. So what I thought we would do is experience a webinar tonight. And I'm going to give you a mini lesson. That's why there's Minnie Mouse up there. JETS offers many different online courses that last anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half. So we're going to do a mini one. It'll last hopefully about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to turn you into 7th graders. And I'm going to give you a choice. Would you like to do Startup Nation or Holocaust the day after? You taught synchronous in an adult confirmation class. This is where I was. But sure, that sounds interesting. But sure, I'd love to hear about that. Okay, as I hope Startup Nation is winning, Yamaha Tzmaut is on Thursday. So we're going to go with that. Fantastic. Yom HaShoah was last week when I was preparing it. Whoops, so I prepared both. Okay, what makes Israel a startup nation? That was the topic of this course, and this course was delivered to 7th graders 2 weeks ago in New Jersey. But there were 20 kids all over New Jersey, so pretend we're 7th graders and you're eating and you're texting each other and you're also focusing on me because 7th graders can multitask much more than adults. Okay, what is Israel famous for? You can talk or speak, or chat or talk, anything. Anything that pops through your mind, and if you do know the beautiful woman looking at you, you can also say who that is. Yes, you are from Bar Faeli. Correct. She's a model, cell phones, technology. She got married a couple of months ago. We had the army had to shut down the area that her wedding was in. How do I actually share your screen with me? By pressing screen share. Holy places, technology, medical technology, very advanced tech. You are very good 7th graders. I will sadly share that the 7th graders in New Jersey had very little to answer at this point. Thank you, Sarah. That's a fantastic response. So I had to stop. And I see, no, we're going to get back to this question later on because they sadly did not know very much. Falafel, yeah, they probably knew that, Maria. So let's take a look at other things Israel is famous for. And we're going to watch this video now. Anyone who's seen it, let me know. You should be able to hear it through my screen. If you cannot, let me know. Barafa Eli is a model. No, they didn't know who she was.
I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away.
What
unit has become legendary, the Israeli Medical Unit.
We did everything that we can to be as fast as possible on ground.
Israel is only the world's 152nd biggest country, but it's always one of the first to send disaster relief all over the globe.
Where you go, no, you're not alone. I'm only one call away.
The earthquake in Haiti.
I'll be there to save the day.
The tsunami in Japan.
Superman got nothing on me.
The typhoon in the Philippines.
I'm only one call away.
Save a Child's Heart brings children with life-threatening heart defects to Israel for cardiac care.
Save a Child's Heart brings children from all over the world.
From Ethiopia and Iraq.
From Syria.
Tanzania.
From Sudan.
Gaza and Palestinian territories, even when these countries are actually at war with Israel.
Save a Child's Heart volunteers and doctors transport and treat these kids in Israel free of charge.
I just wanna see you smile. No matter where you go, you know you're not alone. I'm only one call away.
Innovation Africa brings Israeli technology to rural African villages. Volunteers have built schools,
Superman got nothing on me.
medical clinics,
I'm only one call away.
Change the lives of over 750,000 people by providing tools for solar power and clean water.
When you're weak, I'll be strong. I'm gonna keep holding on.
Israel goes beyond its borders to save a life,
Change the world.
make a difference. Israel is more than just a country.
Israel.
It's people helping other people.
When you feel like hope is gone, just run into my arms. I'm only one call away.
The Israelis came from the other side of the world.
I'll be there to save the day.
No one except the Israeli hospital has taken any of our patients.
Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one. I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. I'm only one call away.
Okay, seventh graders, I see you were impressed by the video. What impressed you about it? And some of you even experienced and interacted with it already. You found it cool, creative, awesome. The footage, yeah, the footage was fantastic. I will agree to that. So what and who are, so Israel's an innovative country. The songs, the pictures, the caring, absolutely. So it is a great story, agreed. All of that was fantastic. Israel is therefore innovative, and we're meant to be an Or LaGoyim. So who are Israel's innovators? This is the guy that made Waze, which was sold for a whole lot of money. Activities we're doing around the world. Although we could say our innovation goes back a few thousand years, perhaps. Who is this picture? This picture of this man looking at the stars, and what kind of innovator could he be? Abraham Cetus? Could be Abraham. Could it be anybody else? And Abraham innovated monotheism. So he was an innovator of faith. It could be Moshe looking up at the stars. And what kind of innovator was he? He innovated law. That's great. That's interesting. How Israel helped around the world. Yeah, the video was amazing like that. And did our ancestors help? Is that what they were good at? Freedom. Moshe innovated freedom, Maria? Is that what you're explaining? You can take off your microphone and talk at any time. You don't only have to chat. I'm kind of getting sick of my own voice, so I'd actually like if you would unmute yourselves and talk sometime. Okay, so we have Moshe, Abraham innovating Temple in Jerusalem, huge innovation. Okay, so innovation is in our blood. If the question is what makes Israel the startup nation, innovation is in our blood. Look what our ancestors did. They innovated things that were wild to the world. Monotheism, crazy, right? Freedom when the Jews were slaves, crazy. You ask Danny Gold, the inventor of the Iron Dome. What did they tell? What did the Israeli government tell him when he went to them with the first plan about the Iron Dome? Like, you're nuts. Never happening. Cost too much. Ridiculous. So all these people have been told they were crazy. You can't do it. And they did it, and it worked. Here's another innovator. What did he innovate? Please talk.
King David.
Thank you. What did he innovate? Please talk.
Psalms.
Okay, fantastic. So poetry. Music.
Kingdom.
Kingdom.
I saw an interesting film clip from the Israeli news. They were talking about Israel as a startup nation, and they spoke about the fact that at the time of David Ben-Gurion, he told scientists and researchers and inventors, he said, this is the pioneering. This is today's pioneering, is to invent and to innovate and to technology is important to, this was like back in the 50s, he said this. He told the people at the Weizmann Institute, he said, the innovations that you're doing are as important to us as, turning the land, the sand into arable agricultural land. That's part of Israel's pioneering spirit. And the inventors of the 1950s onward, they've taken that and they've just flown with it.
Absolutely. And Philip, you wrote Jerusalem. You want to explain, Philip, are you still on the phone or you can't talk anymore? Because if you can talk, then we'd love to hear your voice.
He made Jerusalem the capital.
So he innovated, how would you say that? He innovated capitalism.
Unified a country.
Unified a country, there we go. He innovated that. Yeah, he did. Fantastic.
Maybe, can I interrupt?
Please.
Maybe he innovated the slingshot that we can win the strong.
The weak against the weak can defeat the mighty. That certainly was a very innovative. It's an innovative idea, certainly. I don't know if he innovated slingshot. They probably did have that at the time, but the concept, the concept, fantastic. Fantastic. So you guys are fantastic seventh graders. I have to say you're a bit more advanced than my other seventh graders. Mark Twain came to Israel and said, there is not a solitary village throughout its whole extent, not for 30 miles in either direction. We're going to watch a tiny bit of this video about what Mark Twain saw when he was here in 1867.
In 1867, Mark Twain toured the land of Israel, known back then as Palestine. Here's how he described it: a desolate country whose soil is rich enough, but is given over wholly to weeds. A silent, mournful expanse. There was hardly a tree or a shrub anywhere. Palestine sits in sackcloth and ashes, desolate and unlovely.
Today, Mark Twain wouldn't even recognize this land. Out of rocky soil, out of swamps, and even out of deserts, Israelis have created gardens, vineyards, and farms with some of the most innovative techniques in the world.
It was just this country with incredible dynamism and energy and excitement and food and people and a sense of family and ultimately a sense of belonging.
It's been said that the modern state of Israel was born on the kibbutz. So it's only natural that much of Israel's innovation was born there as well.
The kibbutz is the cornerstone in a lot of ways of a lot of things in Israeli society.
People came back wanting to create a collective and an equal society. And these kibbutzim became a very, very effective way to defend the land, to start getting young people engaged in agriculture. And the Jews were forbidden in most countries of the world to actually own land or to work the land. Jews.
Okay, so if the video goes on and it's fantastic, but just in the interest of time, sorry about that, just the interest of time, we're going to move on for that. So any main ideas that you got from the video. Tube Chop, you can cut a video to as short or as long as you want. You can do whatever you want with Tube Chop. That's why it's great. Change, innovation. The theme of the video was change and innovation. Okay, anything else? Transformation. What do you mean by that, Avidan? Feel free to unmute.
Transforming a desert into a blooming, vibrant society.
Mm-hmm. Etty, what do you mean by compare and contrast? Yes, Avidan, I agree with that.
I would probably bring something of today and maybe show it color and show the differences of then and today.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he tried to do that a little bit.
Yeah, I'll do it like here, right as you see it. Here is the kibbutz then, here's the kibbutz today.
Ah, nice.
Still today, then.
That would be a fantastic idea. So this discussion can go on. Again, in the interest of time, and it's a mini lesson, we're going to move on. Just in case you didn't know enough about Israel, we're going to watch one more short video. Did anybody see this one? Israel defying all odds? And from this one, we're going to see Israel, what surprised you?
One of the smallest countries on Earth, with 1/1000th of the world's population, only 60 years old, under constant threat, and yet, relative to its population, Israel is the largest immigrant-absorbing nation on Earth. It has absorbed 350% of its population in 60 years. Israel is the only country in history to have revived an unspoken language. Since the founding of the state, Israel has more Nobel Prizes per capita than any other country except Switzerland. It has more laureates in real numbers than China, Mexico, and Spain. Israel has the 8th longest life expectancy, 80.7 years, longer than the UK, US, and Germany. Israeli films were nominated 3 years in a row for the Academy Awards Best Foreign Film. Israel is the only country that entered the 21st century with a net gain in its number of trees, even more remarkable, in an area that's mainly desert. Over 90% of Israeli homes use solar energy for hot water, the highest percentage in the world. Israel's scientific research institutions are ranked 3rd in the world. Israel is ranked 2nd in space sciences. Israel produces more scientific papers per capita than any other nation by a large margin. Israel has the 3rd highest rate of entrepreneurship among women in the world. Israel has attracted the most venture capital investment per capita in the world, 30 times more than Europe. Israel leads the world in patents for medical equipment. Israel has more NASDAQ-listed companies than any country besides the US, more than all of Europe, India, China, and Japan combined. In proportion to its population, Israel has the largest number of startup companies in the world. In absolute numbers, Israel has more startups than any country other than the US. Israel is the only country whose indigenous population returned to its native land after 2,000 years of forced exile. There are 26 official Muslim states in the world and 18 official Christian states, but there is only one Jewish state.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for jumping in there before the video is even over and telling us how Israel stands out. Now, if you want to unmute yourself or Philip, pick up your phone. Oh, no, it's great for your quick typist. I love it. You guys are much faster than the 7th graders. Or chat anything else. What was surprising, interesting, shocking?
Yeah, again, I think it's just that I didn't realize how many different areas they're topping. I knew that they were the top in things like medical research and technology and trees and things like that, but I don't think I realized there were so many arts contributions too, and just how many of the people are, really just the tops of their fields and things like the Nobel laureates and prizes.
It is. It's a real feel good film. Etty, you have to unmute yourself.
I like that. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I said that I was surprised to see that we are second in space science, and eighth in life expectancy. Wow, that's amazing. I guess also the Nobel Prize. I didn't know we're number one. And here the door is ringing, and this is one of the fashla, right?
That's all right. We'll excuse a door. It's better than a screaming child. Ofra, bakasa.
I like the idea that it emphasized and showed everyone that there are so many Christians countries and there are so many Muslims countries, but hey, there's only one Jewish country. And among all of what happening to us, everyone is fighting for that teeny tiny land. So it's only one Jewish land, one teeny tiny land that provides so many great and very smart people.
And everybody wants a piece of it. Absolutely. Totally affirming.
Yes.
Philip, thank you. Fantastic. Philip, did you want to chime in? I was teaching, we work with Christian schools also, and I worked with, I went to a public school and a Christian school. I went to visit a public school in Birmingham, Alabama, a bunch of inner city kids, very different population than what I'm used to. And I don't know if I showed this video or a different one, and they said, well, I said, what surprised you? And she said exactly what you said, Ofra. She said, there's only one Jewish country? I said, yeah. She said, are you sure? I said, yes.
Let me respond to that. My brother 3 years ago was a diplomat. He's in the Air Force. He was a diplomat in Birmingham, Alabama. And his three kids were in a Jewish school over there. They actually lived by Chabad, next to Chabad. He was here for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's it. He went back. So it was nice that you were talking about Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes, it was. So she said, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm quite sure there's only one Jewish country. So, but you're always in the news and you do so many things. I'm sure there's more than one. I said, I promise you, there isn't. Philip, that's an interesting point. I don't think anyone's ever brought that up before. Feel free to expound on that. In a class setting, we could take more time and talk about all of the different things. Again, in the interest of time, we're going to speed up. So being that Israel is such a teeny tiny country and our neighbors don't exactly help us all the time, but I did ask a question. It should not be easy for Israel to succeed. So how do our neighbors help us? And I use that word intentionally. You can think of a few fields that you heard about either in that video or from your own knowledge base. So much information from the YouTube, yeah. If you could look at our neighbors, we do have peace with two countries, Jordan and Egypt. We do not have peace with Lebanon, Syria, or Saudi Arabia. How do our neighbors help us to succeed? There we go, Moria. And you want to speak about your background with that, Moria? I don't think everybody knows what you did in the Army. Feel free to unmute yourself and just give us a brief summary of what you're allowed to say. If you look on the bottom left, there's a mute button, Maria, and you can unmute yourself. Or Hilla, you can unmute.
Okay. I think I got it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, yes. So they always talked about when I was in intelligence how such young people in the Israeli army are doing exactly the same things and even in a better way than other intelligent units around the world, just because we're kind of forced to do that. It pushes us to do better than everyone else. And because of the urgency, we kind of have to come up with new technology all the time to keep us safe, which a lot of the technologies that are used in intelligence are used afterwards also in other fields.
So Moria was in the intelligence unit is what she was trying to say. She's not 18. She is a bit older than that. And she just recently finished the Army. Yeah. And if you just scroll through the chat, you could see what Moria has said affirms much of what you all said. The common enemies unify us, force us to be self-reliant, making Israel whole a better place. And yes, we help others even with the, 3 years ago, sorry. And we help others even with that technology. There's another video here, but I think we're videoed out. But she basically says that the kibbutz lady, she says they used to put poison in to get rid of rats. And now they found that the barn owl kills rats, like millions of them a year. And not only that, but it brought peace to the Jordanian farmers as well. So we had a new bird of peace. So was the barn owl. So the activity for the students was to create a slogan for the new bird of peace. This is what we are going to spend a minute or two on, being that we've just learned about all these fabulous innovators and what Israel is good at. And so I asked the students, and now you're my 7th graders, to create an award to give to any one of these innovators. We have Danny Gold, the guy who created the Iron Dome. We have Ellie Beer, the guy who invented the AmbuCycle. And we have a couple more. So this is a lino board, and I know some of you, some of you have used it in the past, a lino board. Who has used a lino board in the past? What? Anyone use linos in the past?
No.
Nope. Okay. You didn't? Okay, well, some of you have and some of you haven't. Okay, great. So this is called a lino board, and as you can see, I can click on it and I can move it around, which is great because I can put lots of information up there. What information do you see up here? We're just going to stop for a moment and be educators here for a second. What information do you see coming at you just looking at this board? Articles, videos, content,
Images,
post-its,
articles.
videos, assignment. Thank you, Batsheva. Pardon, go ahead.
There's everything. Text, there's articles, there's videos, there's links, there's everything.
Everything, right. Okay, so that's what we love about lino boards. Also, you can see the background. It's very visual. You can put any background photo as you like in the background, and you can make it calm or busy. And then that's a lino board. How do you post? I asked the students to create an award. So you have to create an award. I'm going to ask you to do that too. You're going to name your award, and you're going to design your award. For example, Danny Gold invented the Iron Dome. Yes, you can, Philip. Absolutely, thank you. You can learn on your own with the board. So if he created the Iron Dome, I'm going to give him a safety and security award, and I'm going to put it in the form of a police badge, because even though he's not a police officer, they also represent safety and security. That's just a sample. But Sheva and Philip are continuing with their fabulous educational moments and saying you can get caught up if you miss a class, you can learn on your own. It promotes self-learning and simultaneous learning. How do you add your award? You're going to come up here, you're going to choose what color you like best, and you're going to say, I'm going to give a badge, a police badge to award to Danny Gold. And then you're going to write your name. If you want to add a little icon, you can click there. If there is one that looks like a police badge, obviously I would do that. I don't see one, so I'm going to choose that one, and I press post. Then I'm going to drag it over to the Danny Gold section, because that's who I want to give it to. If I want to erase it, I press check. If I want to fix it, I have to fix my post-it. I'm going to press that little pencil over there. I'm going to fix it, change whatever I want, and then press save, and I'm going to drag it over. Now we're all going to do this simultaneously. So all of a sudden you're going to see all these sticky notes popping up all over the place. So just make sure to drag yours around, and it's okay if it gets covered. I can fix it later. We're going to watch one of these videos together, and then I'm going to let you poke around for another minute looking at the Serenita video. If you want to watch the AmbuCycle video, you can do that too, and then create your award. So here's Danny Gold. Yes, you can paste pictures on it.
Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system has been put to the test in the latest round of fighting with Hamas. It has shot down dozens of incoming rockets and is credited with preventing numerous civilian casualties. A few months ago, Vokachev sat down with the man who created Iron Dome.
The system virtually creates a dome around the city or protected area. Anything that penetrates the dome will be killed. The Iron Dome concept and idea was invented by Nick in the early stages of 2004 and 5.
At the time, missile attacks out of Gaza were terrorizing the citizens of southern Israel.
People get killed. It is our obligation to find a solution.
Gold envisioned a mobile anti-rocket system with the ability to detect and intercept incoming rockets in midair. But developing this technology would be costly. He went to the Israeli government for funding.
First response was no, cannot be done, leave it alone. Took me about 2 years to convince everyone to get the bulk of the money of the $200 and something million to finish the development and production. The success rate is enormous. There's nothing like it in the world in any other weapon or missile system.
Iron Dome allows residents across Israel to go about their daily lives with a reasonable level of normalcy.
Many of them are too confident. So after the same, the success of Iron Dome is like fireworks. It's not 100% foolproof, not 100%, but still saves lives.
Okay, so that was Danny Gold. And someone asked, can you post videos? Yes, you can post video as you see. You can do this is attaching a document, which I never ever do. You can post a video by doing this and just sticking in a URL only from YouTube, Vimeo, or Ustream, basically YouTube. And how do you add a photo? You go over here to the picture of the mountains. You can press frame, and then you can caption your photo or write your name. And you would have to choose a file. It has to be from your computer. And you press open, and then you press post. And then you can add a photo and then write anything you want underneath it. Your brother is in charge of Iron Dome. Wow. That sounds cool. I have to hear more about that. Are paid versions of these apps required to prevent advertising during class? Yes, I pay $2 or $3 a month, and then there are no advertisements. So 90% of the tools I will share with you during this course, we'll go through about 20 tools, are free. I recommend spending the $2 a month on Linas. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I've now put the link in the chat box. I'm going to stop my screen share, and I'm going to ask you again to create an award and add a post-it and give an innovator an award. If you want to watch one of the other videos, you can. If you're ready to go, then you can do that too. I left some samples on the screen from other students so you could see what it looks like. Any questions, anytime, please jump in.
Yeah, how do we do that? How do I go now? Once you undo, once I cannot see you, then how do I go to which website should I go?
So look in the chat box on Zoom.
What would be the username and
no, you should not need a username and password. Go to the chat box.
Password? Okay.
And there should be a link in the chat box, and click on it, and it should take you right to the board I just showed you.
Okay. Great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I can't click on it.
Did you download the app?
Yeah, but in the app itself, it's asking me also username and password.
It's asking for a username and password?
In the Lino, yeah.
In the app?
Login. Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't need to log in. You should just be able to go right to the one that I showed you. Is there a place that says close in the top?
I'm trying to see. No, it just give me login. Oh, wait.
In the top right corner, does it say close?
Visit our website to learn a little bit more, but I don't think that would be it.
Philip, does it work on your iPad?
It says give it a shot for free, but well, let me see.
It is free.
No, yeah, I'm trying to open it now on iPhone, and no, it's ask for username and passwords.
Philip, does it happen to you too?
1 second. I probably have to go somewhere.
Oh, you're on a computer now. Okay, Besader. Thanks for clarifying. Well, you know what you can do? Let's fix that later on so we don't waste valuable time now. And if you want, if you could just post your award in the chat.
Okay.
And I can post it on the Lino for you, or maybe perhaps Laura, you could do that. And then after class, maybe one day this week, you and I can meet quickly on Skype and we can fix your iPad issues before your next class.
Okay.
Okay, is that good?
Yeah, great.
Okay, great. You posted a Gibor badge. Great, so let me check that out. So if you posted something, it should be popping up. Self-Defense Award to Danny Gold. You have to tell us what your award looks like, the shape. Remember, your award has to have a shape. Like, look at Daniel Fuchs, my original 7th grader. He wrote a dove, National Peace Award, a dove on top of a person meditating. So if you want to fix your link, you have to press the little picture of the pencil, and then you can fix it or edit it. Have you done? That's hilarious. Thank you. I don't see your Gibor badge. You can refresh your screen and things should pop up. Oh, there we go. Ooh, Hillel even added a photo. Bonus points to Hillel. Hofra, is your award in the shape of a smartboard?
No, I just made a mistake.
Oh.
1 second.
Okay, any question? Now I'm gonna turn back into educators now. I'd like to hear all your educator questions and comments. I'm hoping, and I'm sure you have some, because this group is just fabulously creative and lots of teaching experience. So put your teacher's hats back on and unmute yourselves or chat. What kind of educator questions are you having right now? No questions. Gives everyone a voice. Absolutely. It does give everyone a voice. I've heard that from so many students, Philip, so definitely that has been validated many a time. How we might be able to use this kind of tech with students if so much time is taken up just showing how to use the system. Usually it's pretty quick. No offense, but when I show this to kids, in about 35 seconds, they're usually up and running. So the first time, I'm willing to spend even 60 seconds going over it. And even if it's more than 60 seconds, because I am being facetious, I am willing to spend time on it during class. And you tell me how much time you think your students would need to catch on to this. And then you're done. You only need to show them how to use it once. Please feel free to unmute yourselves.
So I'm a little bit concerned about being able to use it in my class because we don't have computers in class, and I can't guarantee that all the students have access to this kind of thing at home. And if there's so much trouble getting it to work with the iPad, we have those available to us, but it's not the kind of thing that we would have for every student. So is there a way to do this on any like phones or anything? Because I know that a lot of them have their own phones and stuff, and we might be able to use those.
Yes, and also please feel free, if you see a question that you feel you have something to contribute, to respond to, please jump in. You're all fantastic educators. We all see that. So please, if you have experience, if you have an idea, please jump in and share. That's what we're here for. Yes, Sarah, it does work on phones, which is fantastic. You can do it at home. You could do it in school. I've done it for both. There is something extremely powerful to doing it all together and everyone seeing everyone's response being loaded simultaneously. And that is going to be your challenge, like we spoke about in the beginning of class. Your challenge for the week is to be able to create your own one of these. So everyone's going to be creating one of these on your subjects, right? On the subject that you hold dear to your heart and please be brave and experiment with it in class. You might want to wait till after you get some feedback and make sure it works for sure. But think about it. It's very powerful, and we all can see each other's response. It's total open collaborative learning, and that's a powerful feeling. Doing it at home, absolutely. Do both. You can play games with it. You can color coordinate. You can topic. You can categorize. You can do lots and lots of different things with this. You don't, but it's very powerful. It's very exciting. More problems that I did not address. Okay. How much can a fashla disrupt the class? Batsheva, what do you mean by that? I mean, how much time does it take? Can you unmute yourself? Posting insults to each other, Moria, is a great point. I introduced something called netiquette before I start doing this stuff. Yes, it can do Hebrew. Anybody can guess what 2 words netiquette is?
Saying nice things like etiquette, but doing things without insulting, being more positive.
Absolutely. Internet etiquette. So I make everyone sign before I even open a Lido board in my class. All my students have to sign. It's the only time I make them write me anything. They have to sign their names. And you guys make the rules together. I have a suggestion. I will give you my suggestions. I'll post them on the haiku. You can copy mine. But I think it's more powerful if you, yes, I will. And it's definitely powerful to do your own. So is there a way to see who posts everything if they don't have labels with their names? No. If they don't write their names, you don't know who did it. I have removed students from a class. You know who those students are. Those students who are those students are going to be those students on the Lino board as well. And I have removed a student from the class because he was posting another student's name and writing rude things. So I just said, thank you, but you can wait outside. You're obviously not mature enough. We're having a grand old time learning together, but you're not ready for that. Maybe we'll wait a couple weeks. Maybe you'll be ready for it in a couple weeks. Here's the assignment on paper. You can do it on paper and give it to me later. So yes, that will happen. Be prepared. Can a name be required? No. How did I know it was him? A couple of the kids indicated to me that it was him. And again, you might know who those students are. The students you're thinking of right now, yes, that is probably who it will be. And they showed me who it was. And then he admitted. He also admitted to it. So yeah. Okay. So Lino is going to be one of your suggestions. So the mini lesson continued. We ended what makes Israel the startup nation, Gemara learning, chutzpah, people of the book, learning, the army, helping, and that we talked about the water. You lost the award. It started. It might be underneath. It might be underneath. Thank you, Philip. Philip's comment, find the tech is so engaging that problems frequently fade away. Agreed. And then I ended, with this. Okay, we're going to do this because it is also part of the class. So this is also where I use technology in the classroom. Hey, where did it go? Okay, so Israeli products that you know, and I'm going to give you only 60 seconds to do this. So you don't have a lot of time, but you get to fill in this Google spreadsheet. So can you hear me now? Am I being heard? Yes. Okay. You get to fill in this Google spreadsheet. As you can see here, A, B, C, D. I thought I made it also Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Daled. Must have used a different one. Okay. And you basically, an Israeli product that starts with A, and you can write whatever you want. Like B could be Bar Rafaeli. Well, she's not really a product, but you get the idea. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the chat box, and everyone can hop on, and you have 60 seconds to do it in the chat box. And you can add your name in column C. And if you want to do it in Hebrew, you can do it in Hebrew too. I did prepare it in Hebrew, but don't know where it went. Yeah, spread out so you don't write on top of each other. Okay.
Go out for a little bit. That.
Okay, Sarah? Philip, it will work. Just click the link. You don't need to have, you shouldn't need to have Google Docs on the computer. It's not like that. It's an iPad thing. You guys are good. And you can do it in Hebrew too.
סמדר, אני רואה עדיין את הליינר בורד, and I don't know how to get out of this and how to communicate. I don't understand.
Okay.
I'm with the liner board.
Okay, so go back into Zoom. Remember the Zoom link? It's the blue circle with the white video link in between.
Okay, I am.
Okay, so now look in the chat again. Click the chat and you'll see a link.
Okay, it tells me to sign in again.
Sign into what? To Zoom? Don't sign into Zoom. Just ignore that. Just ignore that. You don't need to.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So what do? So I have this screen.
Do you see the chat? There should be 2 Zoom screens. Do you see, if you scroll over the Zoom link, do you see us, all the faces?
No, I only see now yours. Oh, maybe.
Oh, click on that. Click on me.
Okay. Okay.
Now look in the chat.
No.
No. Do you see the chat?
Got it. Okay.
Got it? Okay.
So now I see you and the scroll and the bar above with all the pictures.
Okay, good. And click the word. If you scroll your mouse over the bottom of the screen.
Google Docs. Okay.
There you
and
go.
what to do in the Google Docs? What do you need?
Well, we're just about done, and you got our 60 seconds are over, so you got extra time because I was helping Nitsa, so lucky you. So we were making an acrostic, I think it's called.
Oh.
Okay, so everyone had to fill in a letter that begins with, so now do the Hebrew. You did the English already, now do the Hebrew. You guys are really good. The 7th graders from New Jersey had a much harder time with this, did not have as much of a knowledge base. You get the idea. So one of your challenges for this week, we have a lino so far and an acrostic using a Google spreadsheet. Putting on your educator hat for a minute, using a Google spreadsheet. What do we just do? We used a Google spreadsheet. That's what we did. But use a Google Doc. How do you create the link for the kids? Okay, so let's teacher questions now. This is good. Want to hear all your teacher questions. The link that I used is this link up here. That's all you do. You grab that and you share that with your students. You must, and you must, and you must look at this blue button up here, and you must go up here, and it must say anyone with the link can edit. If it says which you can get from more. If it says anything else, and over here, edit, not comment, not view, but edit. If it doesn't, if you have to have this and this, otherwise your students will not be able to post on it. You can change it instantly, not a big deal. But that's how to set it up. So make sure when you post your sample on the haiku that you have shared your document with us. Other teacher questions. Batsheva, how did you set the Google Docs? The IDs were anonymous animals. That is a Google thing. I didn't do that. That's not me. That's Google. Other questions? Educator questions? Okay, so we're moving on. That was our mini lesson. Okay, that was pretty much our mini lesson. I ended with a quote from Mark Twain. What is the secret of the Jews' immortality? And that's how I ended the class. It was kind of an open question, or you can answer it, or whatever you like. Our goals of the lesson. What were our goals of the lesson? And now you're back to being fantastic educators. And feel free to chime in. What you're seeing in front of you is Bloom's taxonomy. If any of you can remember back to your educational training days. This is Bloom's taxonomy, which I like, but I like the top part. So what were the goals of our lesson? Was talking about how Israel is a startup nation, etc., etc., etc. Did evaluate which person to give the badge to. Thank you, Batsheva. So we kept the thinking skills and the activities, as Batsheva is pointing out, I kept them on the top. That was the creative part, the Lionel board. The bottom we did a little bit also. When did we do that? When did we apply, understand, or remember? The Google Doc, the beginning, the videos, those were apply, understand, remember. But then we wanted to create, evaluate, and analyze. How did EdTech help us do this? How did EdTech help us to create, evaluate, and analyze in a different way? Differently than if everyone would have been writing in a workbook. How is it different? Seeing responses. Feel free to talk.
Everybody can work simultaneously. You don't have to wait to raise their hand or wait for the next one to talk. Everybody just works.
Everyone can contribute at once. More collaborative. Do you feel, thank you. Do you feel students like that?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Okay. So those are our goals. How do you create a Lino board? That is all on the Haiku. You have instructions, you have written instructions, you have video instructions. You can call me and we can do it together anytime through the whole course. You don't even want to read. You just want to do it with someone. I am here for you. Lori is here for you. Hill is here for you. We have a whole team of people waiting, sitting by our computers, waiting to Skype with you to help you. So you have the instructions on the Haiku. If they're confusing or you don't like them, drop us an email. We will set up a time and we will do it together. We will share screens and we will do it together. So everyone, no excuses. Everyone's creating a Lino board. This is what my students say about the Lino board. Nita, would you mind reading this for us, please?
Okay. I like the bulletin boards because it is a great example of how you can build on what people say. Literally, the boards always look so cool because they are stickies upon stickies, and sometimes they branch off and or I have to move my stuff. You can add new ideas. Also, in general, someone can ask a question publicly and everyone can answer everyone's teaching everyone. And everyone is teaching everyone.
Yeah, they learn from each other. It's fine. They love learning from each other. They love it. That's how they're used to.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we're wrapping up. We're heading towards the end. We got a tool. What are some advantages and challenges? We talked about some already, but I want to talk about them some more. Of using EdTech in the classroom, we're going to use a Padlet to gather these responses. A Padlet is very similar to a Lino board. It's the same board. You get a pretty board. They have all these pretty backgrounds. And here to post, you double click on the screen. So go anywhere and double click, double click, double click. So I'm going to ask you to add an advantage. Double click and add an advantage. And write your name, please, and explain yourself. And double click and add a challenge. And if you want to even be a more inspiring educator, add a solution to your challenge. I'm going to put that link in the chat box and I'm going to invite you onto the Padlet. As you can see from Padlet, you can also add videos, photos, documents. So they're very similar. A Padlet is a bit smaller than a Lino board and real estate is important. So I generally go with Linos, but Padlets sometimes look really clean. Now don't just write the word advantage. You have to tell us what the advantage is. Oh, there we go. Okay. Do you want me to stop the screen share? Is it bothering you? Oh, so I'm going to stop sharing and then you should be able to get into Chrome. Sorry about that. You guys are already writing fantastic things. Spices things up, keeps the lesson alive and interesting. Like that one. Everyone gets a chance to express themselves. I love that one, Deb. If you want to comment on someone else's, so just create another little Padlet post and talk to someone. Voice for shy kids. Yes, kids may lose the ability to participate. Well, you think, and they might not be able to at all, or maybe they'll come around and they'll do tshuva and they'll come around and a week later you can put them back on. Fantastic, Ofra. Yes, they can share information. It creates more of a kehila. This is their community. Nice, Abidan. Gets overwhelming. Too much freedom. Kids will take advantage. Or yeah, that's not that they might take advantage, they will take advantage. So we need to be on top of it and use our etiquette rules before we open the Padlet. And they'll still take advantage. So whatever consequence you would give them for doing what they do in class is what you give them here. Okay, fantastic. Anything else? Please, everyone.
I don't know if you can hear me.
I can.
Okay, I look at the screen. I don't know how to add my comment. I keep clicking on the board. I click on.
You double click on the board. 2 clicks. Double click on the board.
Oh.
Double click really fast. There you go.
Okay.
No problem. Can you comment? I'd love to hear you talk. Really sick of hearing myself talk. So can anyone give an overview here, your overall thoughts right now about this? It's a challenge for you. Amount of time to prepare not just the lesson, but the app to be ready. If you're using an iPad, the apps need to be on. If you are not using an iPad, you do not need an app. You just go to the site. Just go to the site. You don't need to download anything on a computer. Yes for an iPad, no for a computer. Any other questions?
This is really cool. I didn't know this was out here.
Okay, great. What do you, the teacher, need to do to have this ready before class?
Get to class on time and set it up. Make sure you have connections.
Yes.
I think you also have to have an alternate. Just
Create a page.
you checked everything and it's right. It might still not work when you need it to. I think if you have an alternate or something to get by if there are technical difficulties.
Yeah, but that would be really hard for me. Like my whole lesson today, I don't have alternate. If it didn't work, it didn't work. You know what I mean? I am an online teacher. I have to have tools that make it work. I'm not going to stop and give out a worksheet because my students are 10,000 miles away. They can chat.
I have a question.
Okay, one second. I would make sure first, before I began, that my bandwidth is strong, my internet is strong, that the school doesn't block any sites. And then I would test it with a friend, and then I would go for the gold. I wouldn't prepare backup necessarily.
Agree.
Okay, this is Batsheva. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I figured out what was wrong. It was on my end in terms of muting. So what I meant in terms of apps requiring preparation was these are all, and I just wrote it in the chat, these are all great tools, but you can't just go to them without having set the stage in each one for your activities. And that takes some time.
Yes. That's what we're here for. That's what this course is for.
Okay.
You have 8 weeks of time right now. We're going to learn about 20
I've got a question.
Okay.
What will be better to use, laptops or iPads?
Really, it's a personal preference.
What is more friendly and less troublemaking?
I am a laptop person more than an iPad. I use both, but generally my students have laptops more than they have iPads. And because I think I started on laptops because iPads didn't exist while I was still using a computer, I personally am more comfortable with a laptop. But if there are teachers out there who do not put their iPads down ever, and if you're one of those teachers, then do it on an iPad. You go with your gut. You know,
experience.
Makes you excited. Has anyone asked their students from value? You can do that. And yes, you have to check for parent permission needed for internet use. You mean at a Hebrew school, Sarah?
Yeah, so I know that a lot of our kids, we actually tell them they can't bring their devices or that they're not allowed to use the internet while they're there unless it's for specific purposes. So I think that just at the beginning of the year, we would need to make sure we send out a permission slip with like the set of things we might be doing and just come up with, things that the parents know what we're doing, because I know that at least when I was a student there 10 years ago, the parents did not allow the students to use the internet, although obviously things have gotten a lot safer since then. We can now, direct what they're doing a little bit better, but just, making sure that the parents are in the loop and know what's going on, because I know some of them still get very touchy when we say, oh yes, we're taking your kids on the internet.
Yes, absolutely. You need to, all that has to happen beforehand. That would be setting the stage.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll put a block on the haiku, setting the stage, parent forms, netiquette forms, checking your bandwidth, Wi-Fi, internet strength at your place of education. All that has to happen first and then go for the gold. If you're in a school, generally, you're not dealing with those issues as much. Netiquette, yes, but the other ones, probably not. You probably are not doing that. Okay, I think we're up to our final slide. Yes, we are. Look at that. And your final slide is something called Today's Meet. What did you learn today? Or what was surprising? And you're going to, and these are remember your challenges, Lino, Padlet, spreadsheets, or Today's Meet. You get to do one of those. If you want to do all four, kol hakavod, you definitely get bonus points if you want to do all four. What do you do here? What was surprising for you? Where it says nickname, add your name. You press join. And then what did you learn today? I learned about using Linos, or what was surprising, that whatever it is you wanted to say. And then you press say, and it pops up there. Okay, so this is our exit ticket. With this, we will end, and you will be good to go. So again, your name, and then say. How much is out there? All the sites. Great, Angela. Fun to use all this quickly class time flew. Oh, thank you. Very interactive. What do I use this for? That was a good question, Angela. Any comments, questions, suggestions? You must be thinking, what would you use today's meet? What would you use it for? Yes, you're definitely going to practice very active group meetings. Fantastic. If you think of the Lino and a Padlet as a whole board, lots of places to spread out. Today's meet is just a stack. If you use exit tickets, what did you learn today? I love using it for exit tickets. What did you learn today? I love using it for that, because I don't want Post-its all over each other. I just want a nice, neat stack. I don't want to have to worry about people posting over each other. I use it for exit tickets. If there's something that doesn't have a lot of ramifications, just a quick question, then I use it for that. Group meetings for your class. Large group chat, yes, definitely. Quick question. Different ways to get Israel's message across. New forms of communication and tech we can use besides just Google Skype. Okay. You guys are fantastic. Your challenge for the week is to create one of those tools: Lino, Padlet, Today's Meet, or Google Spreadsheet game. You want to do 2, 3, 4, your choice. This is your course. Whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. If you have trouble, you get stuck, email us. We are here for you. You're a bit overwhelmed. Very normal to be overwhelmed. I'm trying to overwhelm you a little bit because we only have 8 weeks, not 10 weeks and not 12 weeks. So I want to shove it all in. If you're feeling overwhelmed, take one. Uno. One thing you like the best and say, I'm going to work on this. Okay, and I am here for you. You want to Skype with me? I'm very happy to do that. Yes, I like Sarah's message a lot. I like that this one is more of a chat, less of a competition. There you go, Angela. Does that help? Very well said, Sarah.
How quickly does the recording get to be posted to review what we did today?
To review it today, as soon as Hillel uploads it to its computer, so I'm going to let Hillel answer that one. We'll wait for him to say that. I am going to stay here if you have any questions, but the recording is going to end now. I wish you a good night.
I hope to have it up by tomorrow morning Israel time.
Thank you.
And you'll get a follow-up email. You'll get lots of emails from me. You'll be really sick of me.
So long, everybody.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.
This is very interesting.
See you in
I'll see
week.
you at Legacy next week.